Hey guys. Oh, it's about 9:48. Looks like it's 85 in here, 91 outside, 63% humidity. Best advice I can give you as a firefighter: in case of fire, break glass, make you some s'mores. Had a girl give me a couple of really cool pictures. I had to put them up on my wall. Pretty cool. And that one over there. I'm telling you, I keep fixing this shop up like this. I'm never going back in my house. Pretty awesome. Anyway, so today we'll get to welding this bad boy on and maybe try to get it primer, and then we'll see what happens from there. But today's my birthday, so took myself out to breakfast. My wife had to work, and I'm really sore. Had this great idea that I was going to join this. It's not really CrossFit, but it's kind of a mix of that type of stuff. I mean, you know, it's kind of circuit type training, and you know, you do kettlebells and stuff like that. And, you know, I work out and stuff, but not like that. So yeah, I'm really sore. So I was supposed to go back today, and I said, you know, I better take a break because it's hard to bend down right now. You take kettlebells and you step up on these benches and just do that over and over, and then you go to another circuit and do something else, and then you're dragging a sled that's weighted with, I forgot how much weight they put on it, but yeah, it's good for what we do, but when you're old like me, it's not as easy as it used to be. Anyway, so I'm gonna get some progress on this, and I'll bring you back. See you. Yeah, all right, guys. Welded on. Not quite all of it, but you can see there. New welds up top. These little guys here penetrated real nice. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna grind those because you'll never see them, and you know, whatever. But they're almost flat, so it's nice. I didn't look inside. Oh, yeah! Look at that, real nice. Just gotta clean that up. Maybe sand them just a tad, but that turned out good. I was looking in here. I still got a weld under here. These little guys under here, but little patch I made down there, I was kind of admiring my little bumps there that came, my little weld bumps came through. That's pretty decent penetration for that little patch, so pretty happy with that. Now I'm bragging, but it looks pretty good. So yeah, I mean, that's still got to weld back here, get these on. I still got to, because I got to take the wheel back off, and and when I get that off, then I'll weld those up too. But I'm gonna put it back up on jack stands and take that wheel back off. But I'm gonna try to get in here first. I can get to this because that panel's got a little bit of a gap. You see that? A little bit of a gap there, so that ear needs to be bent down a little bit. Well, lucky for me, right in there is a hole, and I can access. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm probably not in the right spot, but you can access that those little tabs, so I can actually get in there and kind of pound those down a little bit to where they'll be a little bit more flush. So anyway, that's all I got so far. But I'm done with that. I'll grind those down and get it prepped up for some more prime. So, all right, see you guys. Hey guys, we're into the outer wheel well. I was going to show you if you can see that. I wanted you to see how the epoxy burns away. And I brag on this epoxy a lot, but I'm really pretty impressed with it. that's pretty cool. I mean, if you see stuff burn away, normally it flakes off real bad. That's got some, it's almost like I took a little tool or something and made little, but I'll just rough that up a little bit. Man, that stuff sticks really good, and the way it burns away is really nice. So again, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to share my experiences with this stuff. You know, if it sucked, I'd tell you the same thing. I'd be like, man, don't ever use this stuff because it sucks bad. But man, so far this stuff is pretty impressive. Maybe they all burn away that way. I don't know. This is the only epoxy I've ever used. So I say that I've used matrix epoxy too, but I've never used it to this extent. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you. See ya. Hey guys, that's upside down MIG welding. And you know, while I'm not going to brag, I'm going to say that worked out pretty good. You know, it's not absolutely beautiful, but for, like, you know, I was having some issues upside down. I was just like, I hate it. So I called a buddy of mine that's a professional welder, and while he doesn't weld sheet metal, you know, he does weld a lot of different kinds of metal. And he said, hey, turn your heat and speed down. And I was like, what? Because I would have thought just the opposite. I would have thought, man, you're upside down, you need to heat that sucker up hotter to get better penetration. He said, no, it's just the opposite. So did what he said, and looky there, it actually doesn't look bad. I mean, for what it is, it doesn't look bad. So there you go. And of course those were from the top, so that's just the penetration that came through the other ones. But yeah, so that's it. And like I was saying, call it George, and man, I can't remember your name. I'm gonna have to, maybe you can tell me if you watch the video again. Yeah, all I gotta do is prep this little area here, these little areas here when I'm done welding them, and just take my gun and just shoot me a little bit of epoxy up in here. Same deal down there, and I'm good to go. And then of course, while I got it out, I'll finish the top of this. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I just thought I'd share that with you real quick, because I had, in one video, I was talking about how I hated welding upside down, and it just balls up real bad on the end of your deal. Now I just finished welding that upside down, and you can see that's all the ball is. And before, when I was doing it, man, I had a huge ball, and it'd be stuck to the insides of the deal, and it was pretty ugly. But yeah, that looks like the key to me. So a little lesson learned there. Maybe I can share with you guys. You can try it and see what you think. So all right, see ya. Well, there it is. It's all welded on. I gotta grind all the welds down. Put a couple little extra tacks for good measure right there. Of course, you know, I got them all up in there good and everything. There's my welds down that rear part. Oh. And then there's the ones in there. Also, I was going to tell you, and I don't know if I can get the camera maybe in there, the light or not. You might or might not be able to see where that penetrated through. Well, since the little holes there, I'm going to go ahead and shove one of them little nozzles in there and spray all the backside and inside and all that. Try to get all those inside welds where that penetrated through as best as I can. Give it a little extra protection. Anyway, yeah, a little extra weld through in there. Try to get to the back side of those, and spray some stuff to kind of protect it. I watched a video. I don't remember who it was. I wouldn't say if I did, and I hope this doesn't offend you. But the guy had taken off his outer wheel well, and all of the welds here were all rusted. Just where they had plug welded it, just like that. And he was saying that's because they didn't use weld through primer. And you know, this is completely my opinion, so don't take it and run with it. It's just my opinion. My opinion is somebody got lazy and just left the welds like that, and didn't just put the panel on and didn't actually prime that. If they'd have primed that with epoxy primer, it wouldn't have rusted in those areas. And again, that's just my opinion. I don't think weld-through primer is the save-all by any means. I use it just as a little extra. Like I said, it makes your welds a little crappier. And what I do is I spray the weld through like I did the whole strip, but then I'll scratch off just a little area so I can get good penetration into the metal. And then weld that up, and then whatever's around it, I'm hoping that zinc that's in that primer will get in there and help prevent any rust. Now, like I said, I'm going to grind all this down and I'm going to epoxy coat that, so it's going to be sealed up. It's going to have a plastic coating literally over this whole area, so there should be no way that water's going to get in there. And if I took an extra step and went ahead and seam sealed all the way up through here, of course this is inside the trunk, so it should never get any water, especially since it's seam sealed, going to be seam sealed in here. But I mean, if you wanted to go overboard and just apply a little smear seam sealer up in there, yeah, you would never have to worry about any rust coming back through. Like I said, you know, you just don't know how lazy someone got when they were doing their stuff. Watched a video with Tommy Shoe yesterday, I believe, and he drove by I believe it was a Chevelle, and he said, you know, he liked the car, but he's like, yep, not for me, not again. Because the sins of the past, and exactly, I mean, you just don't know what people have done, and when you start stripping it down, you start finding out how they hacked it together and stuff like that. But for me, that's kind of, since this is my hobby, this is not what I do for a living, since it's a hobby, that's kind of the fun of it for me. I like to pull it apart and look at some of the stuff that people have done, whether it's quality or bad, and say, wow, they did a good job there, or wow, so far I haven't found that. So far I found, wow, they did a crappy job, but, you know. But, you know, this is my last car. I'll probably do this until I can't do it anymore. I mean, after this one, I'll pick up another project. Oh yeah, my dad called me the other day. We've had a, let me spin the camera around here. My uncle had a 65 Chevelle Super Sport, real 138 car, and to the best of my knowledge, my dad tried to buy it off him. I don't know if motor blew up in it or what the deal was. Well, he parked it out at my grandpa's house when I was a little kid. I was probably 5 years old, and weeds grew up around it, and, you know, I mean, it was just a basket case basically. And my dad tried to buy it off of him. I guess he wouldn't sell it, and well, then my uncle died. Then it just went to my dad, basically inherited. Clean title, real 130, like I said, real 138 car, originally a maroon color, and as far as I know, most of it's all there. I looked at it one time, but I wasn't real serious about thinking about trying to restore this car. But it's sat there for a lot of years, so literally every panel on it is rusted, which I realize you can get every panel for a car, but there's a balance there where you go, okay, I'm losing my butt on this because it's costing me too much money. You end up having $70,000 in a car that may not be worth $70,000. But again, it may be. I mean, depends on, you know. And then you've got sentimental value of it's been in our family since 1970, I think he said. And so I've been kicking around, going down and picking it up. But again, it may just be in such bad shape. Like I said, it's sat in the field since I used to play in it when I was a little kid. My grandma would tell me, hey, watch out for snakes. You know, because I'd go through the weeds to get in it and sit there and act like I was driving when I was a little kid. I've been obsessed with cars literally since I was probably 5 years old. So yeah, for me, this is it. This is my groove. So to look at an old car as I was driving by and see it, I think, man, I could take that and turn it into something amazing. And I hate to see old cars rot away, sit out in fields. And I've seen some of the 1930s old cars sitting out in fields, and people will take those and bring them back, you know, or make rat rods out of them, or, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I'm kicking it around. Like I said, I don't know that I have that kind of money to dump into that car specifically. You guys know my plans were to put, well, if I didn't tell you, my plans were to put an LS motor in my Camaro so I could drive it, put my little grill in it, we could drive, do power tour type stuff. I have, I probably showed you guys before, this motor here is a 396 big block out of my Camaro. And it needs freshened up, but it's a running motor when I pulled it out. And it was about 400 horse, but I could probably pop it up a little bit, you know, get a little bit more strength in it. I thought about maybe doing something like that, putting that in that 65 Chevelle. That'd be pretty cool, I think. Muncie transmission over here. I'm not going to use that in my Camaro. Probably go with the 6-speed, 5 or 6-speed transmission. Now I know a lot of guys hate that. Some of the older guys, like my dad, wouldn't be interested in doing stuff like that. It takes away from the originality of the car, and I get that. But for me, the drivability, I had my Camaro for 13 years, and I probably put maybe 600-700 miles on it the whole time I had it, because the big block, monster gas. Of course, I was young when I bought it. Couldn't afford to drive it that much, and then when it broke, because they break because they're not that dependable, you know, fixing it and that whole deal. So I want to be able to get in an old car like this that looks like an old car, that's awesome, but be able to drive it like I drive my truck every day. You know, not ever have to worry about whether it's going to start or whether the motor got so hot that it heated up the starter. Now the starter's got heat soak and it won't start, and it's just stuff like that. So you know, they're fun. Like I said, I live down the street from the drag strip. They're fun to take to the drag strip, run down that way, do stuff like that. But I'm kind of looking at more dependability now. As I get older, say I hit 60, I may want to go back to. But that's the good thing about this hobby. You know, I can take that 396 and put it back in my Camaro or whatever. I mean, you do whatever. It's not like once you put an LS motor in it, it's over. That's it. You just ruin the whole car and you're never going to be able to get it back. I mean, when you can take a car like this from nothing and go back to making it something amazing, yeah, you can put a car back to original if you want, no problem. As a matter of fact, that'd be pretty easy. So, yeah, especially after doing this kind of stuff to one of them. But I've heard so many people go, "Oh, you just ruined that car." Not really. I mean, you can put it all back to right. So anyway, and none of my cars are original numbers matching motors, and they're not. You know, if it was that deal, it'd be different. You know, it'd be like, okay, this car's worth a lot more because it's original SS, it's original matching numbers, it's original this, that, and the other. But even those, you know, I mean, you don't want to drive them because they're worth so much, and you don't want to take a chance of getting in a wreck or scratching it or, you know, whatever. I want to be able to drive my car because that's the deal. 13 years and not putting that many miles on it, I didn't really enjoy it. I pull it out, polish it every so often, and take pictures of it and say, look what I have, but I didn't really drive it like I wanted to. You know, I take it, go out and do burnouts and stuff like that, but then I bring it right back home. I didn't get very far from the house because, like I said, I didn't want to have it towed home or whatever. So anyway, that's about it for now. I'm gonna probably go take some lunch. Looks like it's at a little after 12. So y'all get back here and grind all those welds down. Grinding sucks. You don't watch me do that. So once I get it all ground down and taken care of, we'll mix up some epoxy and maybe get a coating on it and get on with this thing. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Hey guys. Look, it's about 8:25-ish. I haven't been out here all day. My daughter and wife took me to lunch and did a few things for my birthday, but oh, there it is. A buddy of mine said a good grinder will make a welder out of anyone. I'm gonna say he was probably right. Those little dudes are all ground down. Those little guys there ground down. And that's all ground down. So I'm pretty good. Good enough for the lady I married. So, yep. That's gonna be it for me today. I didn't get it primed, but that's the next step. So I won't even have to mask that much off. I'll just throw some plastic in the trunk there so it doesn't get any overspray. Just blast the outside of that, and then the center spots, I'll probably put a little bit of plastic over the axle and everything, that way no overspray on it. But other than that, turned out pretty good. Hopefully when I put that quarter panel back on there, it'll fit like it did when I took it off. So I put them all back in the same, put all the screws back in the same holes, so it should. So anyway, that's about it. And I'll probably be out here tomorrow. I got the day off, so I'll probably come out and play some. Probably go ahead and mix up some epoxy and go ahead and prep that up and get it all cleaned up again, and get that whole thing gray so I can move on. So, alright guys, have a good evening. See ya.